Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I got a new reading chair and it swivels. I'm so happy about that. If you're new here, my name is Diamond Michelle and it might be a new year, but I'm still the same late person because why am I so late with this video for my November and December wrap up? Like, I had to combine them because I didn't read a lot of books in December, so I was like, I might as well just combine it to like make up for it because I'm not going to talk about two books in one video. But anyway, this is the official November and December reading wrap up. The first book I read is called Good Game. It's by Madison Fox, and this was her debut novel. And it was a good, quick, easy read. It's a gamer romance and kind of like he's like a bad boy gamer, like that kind of vibe. And this was my first like kind of gamer, this was my first gamer romance book. And I liked it. I thought it was good. It's about Stevie who hooks up with this masked gamer. And then she also starts dating this really hot guy named Alex. And it turns out he is the masked gamer named Blade. And so yeah, that's it. I wish that we didn't know like he was that Alex and the masked gamer was the same person early on. Like, I wish that we found out the same time she found out, like it was a surprise, like as a reader. But it was still good. I love that there wasn't a third act breakup. So kudos for that. And the smut was really good. The pace was a little too fast for me. I'm not into the whole insta love, insta lust pace. And the plot, I thought the plot was predictable. I feel like it needed a little bit more. I didn't like how it was like resolved too. I wanted more. But still, it was still really good, and I gave this 3.5 stars. The next book I read is called Unsteady by Peyton Corinne, and I believe this is her debut novel as well, but don't quote me. This is a hockey romance, like hockey / figure skating romance, and it's also a college romance, and it has anxiety representation. So it's about Rise, love the name. He deals with panic attacks after he had this ice skating accident. And then Sadie, who is a figure skater who works like 2 jobs to help take care of her siblings. And I really like the main characters. Her brothers were really cute. Her coach, I did not like her coach. Oh my gosh, she needs to get kicked in the throat. But I also like the anxiety rep. But they also needed to like expand more on that, like how it was like resolved. And what else did I like? I liked his parents. I liked that aspect. I didn't like how, like I said, I didn't like the coach. He needs to get kicked. I didn't like how she got pushed him away at first when really she knows she wants to be with him. Like, I didn't like that. And the side plots. Oh my gosh, it was like so many side plots that was like brushed off. Like, the coach, that's one thing. And then like the best friend, she was in like an emotional abusive relationship, something like that. So that got brushed off. Ooh, and also the guy who caused his accident, that whole little plot got like brushed off because 1 minute you like we hate him and then you kind of like him towards the end, but then it was just like brushed off. My only really complaints with this book is it was really long. It was a little too long, and then it also felt really rushed at the end. But it was still really good, and I gave this 3.5 stars. The next book was my most like anticipated book. It's Iron Flame by Rebecca, the sequel to Fourth Wing. I was like so ready to read this book. This is a fantasy romance, and it's the aftermath of like the last book. You're dealing with the second year of Violet in the school, but Zayden is like, he's done. He's off like fighting like real battles. So there's more drama, more fighting, more challenges, the sassy dragons, revenge, death, all that. It's like, it's a lot, but it's so good. I can't really get into about giving a lot away, but I still liked it. Violet, she did annoy me at first, but it got better. It was like she was so mad at Zayden in the beginning from like the events of the last book, and it annoyed me because I'm like, all right, yeah, he lied, but get over it. Yeah, y'all are in love, kiss and make up. And then also, like when her friends found out she lied, they weren't mad. They weren't that mad like how she was mad. They understood like why she lied. So I felt like she could have been like more understanding, but it's fine. I still love her. She's still a badass. And then Zayden, I love Zayden. Love Zayden. He's still everything and more in this book. Like he would start World War III for her. I'm not even joking. The scene where he like went to get her after she was like held hostage for like information, that scene, I was like, yes, Zayden. It was so good. What I didn't like was Jack. If you know, you know. He's back. Hated him because like you bring Jack back from the dead, but Liam's still dead. Come on now. Um, I like that Dane. He did a 180, like his character. He ended up being on their side. I like that, and I like the book. I enjoyed the book. I see a lot of people who didn't really like the writing of the book, but I really don't care about the writing. I care about the story, the romance, the smut, the plot, like all the good stuff. That's what I care about. So, oh, and then oh my gosh, I need the next book so bad. The ending, I need to know what happens. Oh, that stressed me out, but so dramatic. Still really good. It didn't make me feel like how I felt for the first book. Like the first book, I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything. But this is still like up there. It's still really good. I gave this 4.5 stars. The next book I read is called Curveball by E.J. Blaze or Blase, however you pronounce it. And this was the third book of the series, and I didn't read book 1 or 2. Luckily, you don't have to read in order, but I'm gonna go back to read those 2 books eventually. But anyway, this is a single mom sports romance. The guy's the sports guy, and she's a single mom. It's about Cass and Sunday. Love the names. They have like a random hookup, one night stand, and then he ends up having like a baseball injury and ends up coaching for her son's team. And she didn't know he was famous until like after like the tabloids like caught wind about their little hookup. But he thought she like leaked the story, so he hated her off rip because of that. So yeah, and then boom, surprise pregnancy. Ooh, surprise pregnancy trope. Forgot to mention that first. But anyway, I loved her son. He was like so sweet and thoughtful of his mom and of her feelings. Like it was like really surprising for someone his age. He was like so in tune with his mom. I loved that. Hated the son's father though. He was a mess. And I also hated the third act breakup. I hate third act breakup so bad. Because, like, you're pregnant and you know you want to be together, but it annoyed me. But it was still good. I gave this book 3 stars. The next book I read is called Red Thorns. This is a part of a duet. It's by Irina Kent, and it's a dark romance / college romance. It's about Sebastian, who is pursuing Naomi because of a bet, but then it turns out he's, like, always been fixated on her. Like, that's kind of the vibe. The smut was okay. I liked the plot twist at the end. And, yeah, like, in general, the book was okay. I gave it 3 stars. And then I read the second part of the duet, Blackthorns, and it said, like, years later, they were torn apart because of the plot twist, but they still, like, very much are in love with each other, and then they finally see each other after years, except she's married, but it's, like, a marriage of convenience, but he doesn't know that yet. So, yeah, I really like that they both, like, remained celibate, like, they weren't out hooking up with other people, because they were still, like, wanting each other, and that's really rare, but I really love that. And the duet was okay. I wasn't really in love with the characters, like as much as I liked other characters in her stories, in her other books. But it was still okay. I did like the book. It was an okay duet. And I gave both books 3 stars. Okay, the next book I read is called The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. And I'm so late to this book. Like, everybody already read it, and here I'm like, just now reading it. But whatever. It's a friends to lovers, sports romance, fake dating. Those are the tropes. And it's about Brie and Nathan, who are besties, who are also in love with each other. It's mutual pining. And so he's a famous football player, and then she's a dance teacher. And then like a drunken video came out of her, and she's basically like admitting her love for him, and that went viral, and everybody wanted them to be together. So they ended up fake dating for like sponsorships and all that. And it was just so good. Like, I love the characters, I love the story, I love their love languages, like towards each other. Like, he knows she was struggling, so he like bought the dance studio she like teaches at to like help like lower the rent for her, and that was so cute. And then she buys like these little trinkets, yeah, little trinkets of like stuff the person's like people in her life likes, just so like you know like she's thinking of you, and it's so cute. I love that. This was a cute, fun, great book. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read is called Better Than the Movies, and this was my first book by Lynn Painter, and I am in love. I really, 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 really love this book. Better Than the Movies is mwah, mwah, chef's kiss. Like, I just love it. I'm gonna say I love it a million times. I don't care. It was just so cute and so funny. It's a rom-com, and it is YA, but it was still so cute. I love it. I ate it up. Okay, it's about Liz and Wes. They're neighbors, and he's been like annoying her since they were kids, but she needs his help to get her crush to notice her. Like, her crush is Michael. And then, you know, they're kind of like acting like they're into each other, like hanging out all the time, and then it really happens. And I love this book so much. I love them. I was giggling, screaming, kicking my feet the entire time I read this book. This was my favorite book of the month. I gave it 5 stars, and let me find some quotes that I love, like, because that's just how obsessed I am with this book. Lynn Painter, thank you for this. I just want to read like 1 quote, maybe 2. Okay, this was her. She said, "I made the CD and set an embarrassing scene because I realized that Michael isn't the person I can't stop thinking about, and I wanted to tell you. I mean, he's great, but being with him is nothing like eating burgers with you, or sneaking out to the secret area to make s'mores and look at the stars, or fighting with you over a parking space. But it took me too long to figure that out." I was like, oh. And then she was like, "'Cause you got Alex," and then a few more lines, and then she was like, "Because I was wrong, Wes. You are the good stuff." And then he was like, "She's pretty, but her face doesn't transform into sunlight when she talks about music. She's funny, but not spit out your drink in astonishment funny. And when I see her, I don't feel like I have to talk to her or mess up her hair or do anything to get her to swing that gaze on me." I just love them. Like, I highlighted so much in this book. It was crazy, but I'm so grateful I found this book. I was so obsessed. Like, I ended up finding like little short stories that she had also written for them called Better Than a Prom, Wes and Liz College Road Trip. Like, I went on the hunt to download those and read those, and they were like 30 pages each, but I ate those up because I did not want them to end. So in conclusion, I really love this book. I gave it 5 stars, and then the 2 little novellas, Better Than the Prom and then the College Road Trip, I think I marked that as 5 stars, but that's biased, but I don't care. It was so good. Read this book. Okay, because I was so happy with Lynn Painter with that last book, I read another book of hers called The Do-Over, and this is also a YA book, and this is really good too. It's about Emily. Why'd her name be Emily? Something like that. It's spelled weird. I'm gonna call her Emily. It's about Emily who lives by rules and lists, and she wants everything to be perfect. But then she has like a horrible Valentine's Day, and she like saw her boyfriend kiss another girl, stuff like that, and like everything kept getting worse and worse. But then she like wakes up the next day and have to keep reliving the same day because she's stuck in a time loop. And so she's trying to like break the time loop and like make changes like each day to see if it breaks. And then each time she keeps crashing into Nick Stark. Not her boyfriend, but Nick Stark. Ah, we love Nick Stark. So this book was fun. It was different because I think I saw like one movie where it was like a time loop movie, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this book. It was fun, and of course, like the last day of like the time loop, she goes crazy because she thought it was gonna start over. Like she got a tattoo, and it said, "I had a marvelous time ruining everything," and I low key want that tattoo, and it was just so good. I really like this book. I really like Lynn Painter. I need to read more of her books. And Nick Stark. Ugh, I love Nick Stark. He's unfortunately another fictional man that I cannot have, but I want so desperately. That sounds so crazy to say, but I'm admitting it. I'm a little crazy for fictional characters. But this is a fun read. It was cheesy and predictable, but I loved it. I gave this, what did I give it? 4 stars, maybe 4.5. Okay, the next book I read is called Home Run Proposal. It's a college romance / best friend's brother romance and sports romance. I think he played baseball or something like that. And it's about Holly. She's tired of being inexperienced, so she writes a note to her best friend to ask him to take her V card or whatever. But it ends up going to his brother, who she always had a crush on, and he's like this popular player, like yada yada yada, all that. And the chemistry was like, I wasn't really feeling it, but still read it. My biggest issue is with the guy. I forgot his name, but apparently he like also always liked her too, but instead of doing something about it, he was off being a player, like sleeping around. Like, if you really liked her, you could have did something about it, but whatever. It was a bit predictable, the book, the ending, all that, but it was still an okay book, an okay read, easy to read, like all that. And I gave this 3 stars. The next book I read is called Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And when you think of Ali Hazelwood, you think of STEM romances, but not with this book, because she gave you a YA chess romance. And it's so crazy because it was so good. I was like, wow, I'm really reading this book about chess, and it's so good. It's about Mallory. Yeah. And she hasn't played chess in like years, but then she gets entered into this random tournament, and she ends up beating this #1 chess player, and then he ends up being so down bad for her. It's so crazy, but so good. Like, I really liked Mallory, and I loved Nolan. I love that he's so down bad for her. Like, he would really do anything for her, and I love their chemistry, their banter. I have mixed feelings about her sisters because, like, they were funny. Some of the stuff they said were really funny, but they were also kind of ungrateful towards her, and she's like the oldest sister, and I like felt her a little bit. So like they didn't really understand the sacrifices she had to make to help take care of the family because like the mom was sick, something like that. So yeah. And there was a third act breakup. I hate third act breakups so much, but this was still really good and really funny. Like, I found a quote. Like, her sisters are, like, unhinged. So, like, he pops up at our house, like, randomly one day. And then one of the sisters goes, I'll go ahead I'll go ahead and ask it since we all want to know. This is while they're having dinner. Are you guys having sex? I was like, what? And then the mom goes, Sabrina, that is inappropriate. But are you? And then like a couple lines later, the other sister was like, did you know Mal has sex with boys and girls? Like, like what? So this book was funny. It was entertaining. I was entertained, and I really liked this book. And it was surprising because like I even like the chess part of like there's like a tournament, a chess cheating scandal, which sounds crazy, but it was still really good. And I gave this 4 stars. It might be 4.5 stars, but I'm gonna say 4. Yeah. Okay, the last book I read in November is called Your Loss, and it's a bully romance, like rich guy, poor girl, that kind of vibe. So Lachlan, his fiance, they're in like an arranged engagement. Yeah. And she ended up ditching him, so he needed like a date for some event. So he brings George. I really hated that name. Like, why is her name George? But it drew me also bad. So he brings George to the event and they hook up, but like he has a girlfriend or a fiance or whatever. But anyway, the spice was good. The story would have been better if I saw like more of them falling in love and not just like him being crazy, obsessive, manipulative, and then her being like stupid. I hated that she was so stupid. Like he manipulated her over her father's debt, so he always used that against her. And I didn't like her. I really didn't like her because she was weak. She didn't have a backbone. So I really wasn't a big fan of her, which made me not a big fan of this book. Like, there's this one scene, he had made her lick his shoe in front of like other people, and then she ended up thanking him. Like, she went to his house to thank him. Like, oh, okay, so you won't lick that shoe, then thank him? No. 2 stars for this book. Unfortunately, it is time for my December books. I only read 2 books in December, and they were something. So I realized, like, I was so busy in December, I was like packing to move into my own apartment, and I was like, wow, I really didn't read anything in December. So on December 31st, I promise you, it was December 31st. I went on TikTok and I searched up novellas, and these 2 popped up, and I'm so sorry to myself. I'm so sorry to you that these are the books that I chose. I'm apologizing to myself. They were so bad. Okay, the first book it's called My Stalker, My Protector, and this smutty novella. Like, it was expected because most novellas are smutty. So she's being stalked by her brother's best friend. She doesn't know that. And then her brother, like, he had to leave town, and he asked the best friend to watch her, and it was just a hot mess. Like, I don't see what could have saved it. It was bad. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I gave it 1 star. The second smutty novella and the last book of December I read is called Dirt, and it's a smutty novella, and there is warnings all in the before you start reading, so trigger warning, whole lot of triggers. And it's about this maid. I forgot her name. I didn't forget it. It's like hard to pronounce. I think it's in like French, but she's treated like dirt, hence the name. And she was like assaulted, like that kind of assaulted, and she hooks up with this rich guy, but then he ends up like drugging her and becomes possessive over her, but then also lets other people like do stuff with her. And it was a lot. I was uncomfortable reading this book. And then not a lot more stuff, but more stuff happened. It was a novella. It was really short, but he ended up like killing his wife, and then the maid ended up like getting free, drugging him, and then stealing all his money and leaving. And then I guess he chases her. This book was, I didn't like this book. I gave this book 1 star. I did read the second book. It was like a novella duet, whatever. I read the second book in January, and it kind of made up for the little weird romance, but not really. I think I gave that 2 stars, but I wasn't a fan. But that's what I get for searching on TikTok, because TikTok always gives me like bad recommendations, but I'm not gonna stop because it's interesting. Even like the 1 star reads are interesting because I just like reading. But anyway, that's all for my November, December 2023 wrap up. See you next time. Bye.